All right, hey VC, how you doing? My name is Jamie, and yeah, welcome back. And it's a Friday, the 1st of February. I think we can say goodbye to January and those cold temperatures. Oh my gosh. Certainly, speaking for many, the extreme cold weather that we've been experiencing throughout most of Canada and certainly much of the United States, it has been so cold, and I think it's finally kind of catching up to me. But on a lighter note, I am thrilled I have over 200 subscribers for my YouTube channel. Yay! And so again, thank you very much if you have subscribed to my channel, if you've enjoyed the videos, and if you haven't subscribed, I do encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell notification thing. And I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that I'd be getting over 200 subscribers in such a short period of time. So thank you to the VC. Thank you to all the great comments, and certainly I enjoy chatting about music. And again, thank you. I am humbled, and we shall carry on. And yeah, so I've got some recent pickups that I'd like to show you. The last two are thrift store finds. So let's get right to it. Yeah, as you can hear the voice, I do think the cold is kind of catching up. The cold weather's been catching up. Okay, let's get to it. I've got a soundtrack to kick off this one. This is a soundtrack that I've never owned, but certainly have enjoyed, and I've seen it on other YouTube channels. It's a great soundtrack if you like punk, new wave, that sort of thing. The soundtrack to the film Times Square. The movie came out in 1980. I've actually never seen the film, but when you talk about a soundtrack, take a look at the artists featured on the soundtrack. You got Susie Quatro, The Pretenders, Roxy Music. You've got Gary Newman, Talking Heads, Joe Jackson. You've got the Ramones, XTC, D.L. Byron, The Ruts, Lou Reed. You've got Patti Smith Group also. The Cure, David Johansen. What a soundtrack. Incredible. But as I said, I've never seen the film, although I don't think I need to see it when you got a soundtrack like this. And yeah, Tim Curry was also obviously featured in the film. I believe he plays a DJ, so this came out in 1980. But what a soundtrack. And double album, there's Tim Curry there. And again, man, if you're into new wave, punk, that sort of thing, and this did come with the original sleeves. All right, both the sleeves are the same, and this came out on the RSO label, which is amazing when you consider, you know, they were releasing Saturday Night Fever, also the Grease soundtrack, that sort of thing, and then they come up with something like this, a soundtrack like this. Just incredible. Maybe one of these days I'll have to see if I can find the movie, but yeah, great soundtrack. Okay, Times Square, there you go. Okay, a little bit of Canadian content for you on this one. The band Bush. This is their one and only album from 1970. Features a guitarist extraordinaire, Dominic Troiano. Now, this is not to be confused with Bush featuring Gavin Rossdale, but there was a bit of an issue. This Canadian band, Bush, they only were together for one album. These members used to be in a band called Mandela. They then formed this band, Bush. Dominic Troiano would then later play with both the James Gang, and then he would hook up with the Guess Who as a guitarist as well. And so they were only together for one album, but Dominic Troiano still owned the rights to the name Bush. So there was an issue with Bush featuring Gavin Rossdale. They couldn't call themselves Bush in Canada because that name was already taken, so Gavin Rossdale and the group had to call themselves Bush X. It was kind of like Bush with a tiny little X. They did eventually settle the dispute or the issue, and so I think they had to, Gavin Rossdale and the crew had to pay money to a music charity foundation, something to that effect. So they have settled that since. But yeah, this is the Canadian band Bush, and this is a great album. I mean, Dominic Troiano is a great guitarist, sadly no longer with us, but a great guitarist, and it's got a really nice kind of funky thing. You can see where they were going, certainly from the rhythm and blues days to more with the James Gang, and even the way the Guess Who are getting a little bit more funkier just before Burton Cummings left the group. So yeah, this is a well worth album picking up, and there's the track listing there. And yeah, a really nice album through the RCA label. And there you go. Bush with Dominic Troiano. And another Canadian album picked up. This is Paul James Band and his debut, Almost Crazy. Paul James, great blues singer, guitarist, songwriter. His debut album on Lick and Stick Records. And I remember that when this came out, I was in college at the time, 1984. And who is this guy? He's got a really nice gritty sound to his vocals, his guitar work. It's a lot of covers, but he does a few original tracks as well. Interesting, on the one track, this one here, The Ugliest Girl in Town, features guitars, and features, percussion and backup vocal by Bo Diddley on that song, because the song has a real kind of Bo Diddley feel to it. And he does Robert Johnson's Hot Tamales. As I mentioned, there's a number. He also does Round and Round by Chuck Berry. But still going, Paul James Band, his debut, and on Lick and Stick Records. I think at one time he was signed with Stony Plain label. But haven't heard of him. He's worth checking out, Paul James Band. Okay, a little bit of prog rock. This is my first Camel record. This is a band I've been trying to seek out, discover, and enjoy, and this is Camel's Breathless album from 1978. And this one's okay. This is, from what I understand, where Camel was kind of getting into a little bit more of a pop sound. There's a lot of kind of synthesizer and stuff on here. This will need a few more listens. It's been okay. And this was on the Arista label. But Camel is certainly one of the great prog bands. But there you go. Okay. These were thrift store finds. Bob Crew presents Oliver. Oliver, not necessarily to be confused with the soundtrack to the movie Oliver, although he does do a cover of one of the songs from Oliver on here. But Bob Crew was a producer, songwriter extraordinaire. Bob Crew co-wrote a lot of the big hits for the Four Seasons, and here he is presenting the artist Oliver. And Oliver did have a big hit with Good Morning Starshine, and also the song Jean. And this is a nice pop record. There's a number of covers on here. As I mentioned, he does a cover of Who Will Buy from Oliver. He also covers Ruby Tuesday. He does a cover of Both Sides Now, the Joni Mitchell tune. Actually, he does a couple of songs from Oliver. He covers In My Life. But this has just got a really nice sound overall. It's nice late 60s pop. This came out in 1969. This is a Canadian pressing on quality, but worth hearing, worth listening to. And I can show you the label there. On Birchmount. There you go. So Oliver, Good Morning Starshine featuring Jean. So you got basically his two big hits on that one, his debut. Okay, I also picked this one up at a thrift store and was very happy to see this one. This is B.W. Stevenson, My Maria. Now, B.W. Stevenson, Southern artist, died at an early age. He died at the age of 38, and certainly this is his big hit, My Maria. That song was later covered by Brooks and Dunn, and as you can see here, it also says includes Shambhala. And that song was also recorded and released by Three Dog Night. And in fact, B.W. Stevenson and Three Dog Night released the song almost at the same time. So it's not like this was the early version and then Three Dog Night covered it. They released it almost at the same time. Now, My Maria was co-written by B.W. Stevenson, but Daniel J. Moore wrote Shambhala, so as you can see there. But overall, great country rock, nice southern sound to this overall, and it was interesting. I never knew what, I always remember hearing My Maria, B.W. Stevenson, but never knew what he looked like. But there is a cover for you. Just love the presentation overall. And this came out in 1973, I believe. Yeah, 1973. But really nice country rock sound overall. Great vocalist, too. And this was on RCA. And again, if you're going to own... he did release a number of albums, but if you're going to own just one, this would be the one to pick up for sure. And even just today, My Maria just sounds great. Okay, so that is going to wrap it up for this one. So thank you so much for dropping by. Hopefully you'll be able to stay warm wherever you are, and hopefully warmer weather is coming as at least we get into February now officially. And again, thank you so much for over 200 subscribers, and we will, of course, carry on. And again, if you haven't done so, hit subscribe, hit like, that notification thing, and leave a comment or two. We certainly love chatting with you. So have yourself a great weekend, and we'll chat again real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.